Hello, I'm Brayden Beeson.
I'm Cheyenne.
We are the co-hosts of the Motor Shop podcast.
Yeah, it'll be pretty much about cars and photography and everything in between.
So let's get started. I think the only way to start off a motorsport podcast is asking you what your favorite car is. So, do you have a favorite car out there?
I do. We talked about it last week, the Porsche 911, and it's not even really because I like it as much. I think it's a beautiful car, but I like it because one of my favorite podcasters actually really likes the car, and I totally agree with him. It's one of the most well-designed racing cars out there. It's just beautiful.
What podcaster has that car?
Zane and Heath Unfiltered. He's very passionate about cars, and that's just one of his favorites. So when he was talking about it, I was really listening and looking at pictures, and that's one of my favorites. But it's also a pretty good tie. I do really like the Challenger as well, and a lot of people, when I tell them that, they don't really like to hear it, but it's one of my favorites.
I got to agree with you. The
Are you a
Porsche
Charger
911.
or Challenger person though?
I got to say I'm a neither person.
Neither.
Yeah, neither.
Why?
They used to Challenger used to be my favorite car, but after after the culture kind of shifted with them, they kind of lost my respect. So
Really?
yeah,
Well, they are the
not my
most
favorite
stolen car
car.
out there,
Yeah,
but that's for a reason.
I mean definitely.
Well, also around us, like when we go to Panda Express, I see there's a specific Challenger there that looks sick, and I call it the Mandalorian because right on the gas, what is it like the gas thing? There's like a Mandalorian gear looking thing, and I just call it the Mandalorian car. So I see a lot around here.
Mm. Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about, but
You don't?
do you know what the Ferrari F40 is?
Not too well, but is that the one that you have a picture of Legos or no?
Yeah, so
Oh, really?
so Lego released the Ferrari F40 set.
Then I built it. And I
Cool.
didn't even know. I just built it.
So yeah, on the screen here, of course for our audio only, this won't be too helpful, but so yeah, this is a Ferrari F40. It's one of their classic models. Really
It's
up.
really low.
Yeah, it's very low, and
Skidding on all
it
the.
really upped the game to compete with Porsche, step up with McLaren.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's
It
very
looks different
powerful.
though because that picture is low to the ground, but then that one that's right under it doesn't look too low. Yeah, then I built it out of Legos. And if you want to shout out your Instagram,
Yeah, if you want to check out my Instagram, you can check out my pictures of the same Lego set that I built,
yeah,
Project Trackside, on Instagram.
yeah. I
Check
built a
it out.
lot of Lego cars. I think I'm at like 8 right now. I think I've built so that Ferrari one. I've built a Lotus. I've built plenty.
Out of those cars, you have a favorite one that comes to mind? Or?
Uh, I built this really cool Ford car. I don't really remember the name right now, but it's probably really easy to find, honestly, because it's kind of like a collection set. They probably have like 15 different types of cars in this set that all like kind of go together in a Lego garage. And so yeah, it's part of the collection. It's a blue Ford car. I bet you could look it up right now.
A Mustang?
It might be. I don't know. It's just like Ford Lego set, and it'll probably be the first one to pop up.
Oh, it's probably a Ford GT. Is it a bigger one?
No, it's not the bigger ones. I don't spend no $200 on them. I spent about $29.99.
That's fair.
Well, we talk about cars, but we gotta talk about photography too. Now, I wish I could get into photography, but you are actually able to make it happen and go and take pictures of cars specifically and other things, of course. But your main focus is cars. So you could talk about that and talk about your stories because I know you have a couple funny ones.
Yeah, so I started getting into photography about November, so three months ago. And when I first started getting into it, I got into it with the purpose of shooting cars and sports. That's what I enjoy most, so that's the stuff I want to photograph. Um, so as you bring up any interesting stories, um, my first time doing a real car shoot was at the Detroit Auto Show, where I took over 1,000 pictures. But as I was leaving, I had a great time. I accidentally was clicking around on my new camera. Some mishaps happened, and I accidentally formatted my SD card, which is nothing short for erasing all of the data
Oh shoot!
on my camera.
But you got them all back, right?
I did. After a long process,
And
I had
a
to pay
couple
some
$100.
money.
What was it, like $100
Yeah, it was a
straight?
little over $100 to get them
Dang.
back, but you like pointed out
Yeah. Well, you pulled up the Ford Mustang. That's what it's called.
yeah,
It's
the Lego Speed Champions Ford Mustang
yeah, and
Dark
it
Horse.
belongs to a set of, I don't remember the number, but it's I'm almost there honestly because I have like 9 boxes piled up in my room just of all the Legos that I've built.
Yeah, they're definitely fun to build. Um, I first started taking car photos of the Legos I built because in the wintertime in Michigan
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not much.
Michigan, you can't really go and take pictures of cars outside without freezing. So,
Definitely not. But luckily I was able to get some good shots at the Detroit Auto Show.
and then you're going somewhere in about 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah, in 2 weeks I'm going to Atlanta to the Atlanta Motor Speedway to catch NASCAR. They're heading down there. Um, but a couple weeks ago, I was also able to go to the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona.
Oh.
Um,
And Rolex is a sponsor of it?
yeah, so Rolex, the watch company, they sponsored the race for many years. So they got the headlining name for the race. Um, Also, as well, the winner of each class in the race, they win a Daytona Rolex watch as well.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's actually so cool.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. That's actually wow. Imagine being able to wear a Rolex and then someone being like, "That's so sick. Where'd you get it? I haven't seen the version of that." And they're just like, "Oh, I won because I participated in NASCAR." That's crazy.
yeah.
But what's funny is one of my favorite movies, which we've discussed previously, is Gran Turismo,
Mm-hmm.
and you still haven't gotten around to watching it.
No, I've watched about half of it, but I haven't gotten around to finishing it. Um, but it's on my list for sure.
Well, yeah, so I've watched it so many times, and honestly, it's got really great actors. It's got Hopper from Stranger Things in it. I don't remember David Harbour. That's his name. It's got David Harbour in it. It's got a couple other ones. It's got I don't remember his name, the actor itself, but I do know he plays Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's in it. Uh, really great cast, and it's
Yeah,
really hilarious for a racing movie, and it made me look at cars in a much more serious way because it's very serious and it's very dangerous, and I don't want to spoil nothing, but
I mean, it's based off a true story. So
yeah, and it was cool learning about it too, like especially at the end you'll notice like it's kind of like a dedication to Gran Turismo and the game and how it started and the guy who created it, and just says the fun facts and all the stuff that the daily player of the game wouldn't even know.
yeah, it's definitely interesting
So you
sim
better you
racing.
better watch it.
It's for sure. I'm gonna get around to it. I
Yeah,
promise.
you better.
Um, Talking about sim racing, that's definitely been it's been getting very popular.
Hmm.
Very realistic with iRacing instead of Corsa, Gran Turismo. I've not gotten around to playing Gran Turismo. I mostly
No,
stick to Assetto Corsa. Um, could you see sim racing as a new way for new racers to get involved with the sport?
honestly, yeah, because other than like the mental of it, it's more of a mental game than anything. So these gamers who play it, they don't need this crazy physical uh body to be able to race. They just really need the dedication and the mindset. And the hand-eye coordination only really just with the controls of the car. So these gamers who never even thought that they could be an actual racer can become and do their like craziest dreams.
Yeah, and no doubt, the level of sim racers now has gotten so extreme. Of course, there's hosted money tournaments that run daily. Um, so there's a lot of skill involved with the
Yeah,
racers.
there's a lot of skill and it definitely is a sport, but it's not a sport where you need to be genetically blessed in any type of way or a lot of mental, and you can see in the movie too is they're training physically, but it's also that they can build a mindset of like hard work and being put through 24 hours, like the 24-hour Daytona thing. They can be put through 24 hours of driving and be able to still perform without any like hazard and like hazardous stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sim racing more seriously now for 3 to 4 years, and it definitely takes a different level of dedication and concentration to make sure you hit your marks, hit the apex, and
Yeah, yeah, but it's not like you need to be hitting the gym every day to do it.
not for sim racing, but if I ever needed to step behind the wheel of a real car, I'm gonna be glad that I go to the gym.
Yeah, I guess. That's crazy. I don't know one person that's ever gone into the gym and I'm like, so what are you hitting today? Neck?
Well,
No.
I don't think you hit neck specifically. At least I don't.
You can hit back. I
Um,
guess you have some back strength if you're sitting there
I do have to say I
training.
love that your only basis of motorsports really comes from watching Gran Turismo.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Um,
I do. I'm not this crazy fan of cars, but it's like watching Gran Turismo has definitely put my mind in a much more appreciative state of racing because I never even took it that seriously until I actually watched the movie, and then I realized like it's real and it's actually really fun to watch. And now when you tell me your crazy stories of going there, I'm kind of jelly because, shoot, you got to be on the front lines pretty much when you went.
yeah, I mean I've been to a handful of NASCAR races all across the country. I went to my first Daytona Rolex 24 Hours, like I mentioned, and then I'm gonna be going to Atlanta now for the first time coming up. So I got a lot of stories.
Not me.
Glad I can capture them now with my camera. And this was episode 1 of the Motor Shot Podcast. Again, I am your host, Brayden Beeson, and my
And
co host.
Cheyenne Magnuson.
But if you enjoy the content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, whatever you can do to support. We are out.
The most